That back on. It's been a little bit since I've done a webinar. Yeah, guys. So, like, I was talking to somebody about that, and he said, "Well, when do you guys do webinars? I mean, is it on a regular basis?" And like, as you guys know, like during from I guess June or July, whatever, all the way through probably September to mid-October, we'd have one just about every week unless I was traveling and couldn't get to a computer or something. But I mean, there's just no sense to have them all the time on Wednesday unless I have something to share, unless we're going to like talk about sales or something like that. And I know, David, you're on here, but there's the rest of you guys. I mean, you guys have all been doing this for a really, really long time, so there's not a lot I could cover. But for David, you're kind of getting the short end of the stick because there's some stuff that we could definitely go over. There's probably videos in the back office, but I don't even know. I'd have to look at those. So just to let everyone else know, so I did allow one other, I think, and I told you guys before I said yes to him, I wanted to make sure everyone knew. I always said that we would do 30 of these private label resellers, and we never got quite 30. I think we had like 27, and then since then we had, 2 people never got started. They just kind of dropped off. So we were at like 25 or 24. I forget what the number was. And then I had David, and I had one other person that also wants to join, who did it originally, like 2 years ago. So I'll probably let him do it. But then other than that, we're just not going to let anyone else do it because, well, first of all, it's just not, it costs us money every time we bring you guys on, just fine. Don't mind doing that. And some of you guys are really taking the ball and running with it. Some other ones of you guys are a little bit slow to pick it up. And actually starting in January, there's a couple things I'm going to do for everybody across the board. So we'll kind of look at this as 2 things. I mean, number one, it's great, private label seller opportunity. You guys can, have your own product. But then after January, I should be able to share with you some of the successes that these guys are having selling online, like tell you exactly what they're doing, or as much as I can surmise from them. These guys are pros. I mean, I haven't even wanted to do it myself too much, other than the little stuff I did in July, August, and September, just to sort of prove a point, like to show you guys how many bottles I could sell doing like 0 work. Oh, by the way, there I am. Now I'm sharing camera. I've been staring at it. I'm not even sharing it. Sounds awesome. Okay, you can hear me? Good. I was just about to say that. Hey, make sure you guys can hear me. The other day, I'm not using, I'm not used to Zoom for everything yet. So I had a webinar, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. I probably talked for 30 minutes till I realized, oops, my mic was on mute. But at any rate, so there's a couple things I'm going to do. Number one, I'm going to share that information. But then I also feel like there's a few of you guys that, I mean, literally have been along for the ride since the beginning. And although you guys have sold a little bit and then not for a while, and you're always, I think, mean to, it's like on our end, hey, we got a bunch of bottles here ready for you, or whatever, and we that's great. But I also want to provide something else to you guys, like kind of look at it as some sort of investment too. So for those of you who decide, hey, you're never going to sell more than 100 or 2 per month, I think that there's some other things that we can kind of switch you guys over to. What's going to happen, which is I'm a little bit scared of, and then I'm also like, it's a good problem to have. So there's one thing I've tried to do, well, a lot of things we've tried to do, Terpenes for Health, but the main thing has been over this last, 10 months since COVID started, is to not overspend. I want to make sure that, I'm not wasting money. We have an investor that we really picked up just to do the podcast stuff, but I might be buying out his shares, which I'm selling my rent-to-own company after all these years. It's sad to see it go because I've loved that income. It's been great. The rent-to-own industry has been hit really, really hard. And I'm like, I don't want to get stuck holding the bag. So there's been people that have tried to buy that, for the last several years that are in that business. So I'm basically selling them the book of business and our software program. We still have iReview Builder. I still own the software. So we're just selling him all the clients and access to it and so forth. So it's a huge influx of cash, which is great. But I'd rather have that monthly was great. So I'm really it'll be a hit in a couple of months. You remember when I was talking about this a couple of months ago with iReview Builder, I said, hey, we had these huge clients. It would have been like I had this one client cancel. It was $20,000-$30,000 a month income that we would have taken a hit. So that's basically what I'm selling off. I'm selling all this stuff to that guy. Anyway, so I was like, well, what do I do with the influx of cash? I don't want to start another business. If anything, I want to get rid of everything, which I pretty much have, other than other businesses that I'm not involved in. That don't really make any money either. So, but I'm sure they will in time. But as far as my time being spent, in January, it's just really just terpenes for health. So I might even buy back the percentage of the company I sold, and then use that money and invest it in the podcast and so forth, so we can speed that up. Podcast advertising. I think everyone, the only person that wouldn't know what I'm talking about, probably you, David, is that so for whatever you guys with your private labels, your main target is really going to be online sales through through Facebook, through AdWords, through, your own social media to your, friends and your people's center of influence. So we'll talk a little bit about that today, just to remind everybody about those, because it's a quick way to get sales. You don't get rich, but it's always sitting there. And even with a half-assed attempt, like I did a couple months ago, I picked up 20 sales or something like that. And then of those, there's 10 or 15 that are buying on an ongoing basis. But at any rate, our target has been, or our goal has always been like, well, what is our main marketing going to be? And we had decided that we were going to just advertise on podcasts. We had a close relationship with Joe Rogan. I guess we still do, in that the guy that they mention all the time when they say the Cash App, they always talk about Justin Wren's Fight for the Forgotten, and his good friend Justin Wren. He talks about Justin a lot, which, by the way, has got to stress Justin out to no end. Like, he's like really made out to be a saint, and he kind of is. He's a really good guy. Anyway, he lives here in Edmond, and we worked with his charity, and the idea was to do podcast advertising, kind of like the Cash App did, and use their charity as giving a portion of the money to the charity. So we haven't, since COVID started, we haven't really gone any further with that, other than I see Justin occasionally. But that's the direction we want to go again. So sometime in that first quarter, I'm going to sort of turn that back on. But what's going to start in January is my marketer selling his topical product. It's called Australian something. I can't think of the name of it right now. He is branding our product and going to be selling that along with his product. So that's going to be huge. I mean, already in the test that he did, he bought 2,000 bottles, sold them very, very fast. I was unable to get any specifics. I didn't really ask. I figured this isn't the time to do it, and they probably have a test way of doing it. And my illusion is that they probably sold those just to their list of people that already bought their product, over the years. So whatever, they were just sort of testing the market. They wanted to make sure that that the product sells, and it did. They sold all those, I think, within a week. It might have been within, a few days. I don't know how long it took them to put a campaign together. Again, I don't have any other details on it. Then they're really, really, really excited about it. And in that first quarter is when they're going to start adding it to their marketing. Now they spend about now I'm going to get this number wrong because again, it's been a little bit since I reviewed this, but it was $100,000 a month, something like that, in Facebook fees and AdWords. Look, you don't do that unless you know what the hell you're doing. So I'm really, really excited to have them start marketing our product so that I can chip off some of that knowledge and just share it directly with you guys. I mean, it should in no way affect their sales, for you guys to at least get some of the ideas from them, like exactly how they're, you know, what industry, what groups are they targeting, or whatever, any kind of the specifics I can get. In fact, it will probably help their sales to have you guys also marketing in that field. So anytime there's more than one brand selling a certain product, I think it's good. Even if one is way dominating it, which the other guys will dominate, unless you guys are going to be spending that kind of money on ads. But I think when people go online and say, well, what is this terpene product these guys are selling? Let me go Google what terpenes are all about. And then they Google to find out, you know, are terpenes good anti-inflammatories or whatever? They see all those different blogs. That's y'all's opportunity to get some cast off sales, first of all, because there's a certain percentage, you know, just tens of thousands of people are going to see their Facebook ads and their AdWord ads that they're paying for. A lot of those people are going to go Google, you know, terpenes good for pain relief or whatever. They're going to read your blog, and at the end of your blog, talking about just the basics of our product or of terpenes. Again, you don't want, you can't be a commercial for your product. It needs to be a commercial for terpenes. You're just talking about, you know, all the stuff we know about terpenes. And really it's those two focuses. This is more for David and for everyone else, just a reminder. When you're writing these blogs, it doesn't have to be on a million different topics. I would pick two and have all of them talk about that in a different way, right? And the two are, one is the reality of CBD. What is everyone thinks they know what CBD is, and we don't care anymore. We used to think that was a problem for us, like, oh, we have to explain CBD and we have to explain the difference. No, we don't. Whatever they think CBD is, that's fine. We say a CBD alternative and then go directly into our product. They don't necessarily need to know that CBD isn't immediate, or we don't have to educate them on any of that stuff for that CBD alternative tagline to work for us. That being said, in the blogs, that's where you can go into that topic. So you can have a blog that you just write, you know, a million different ways. Maybe every single week you're posting another blog somewhere else on a different blog site or as a guest blogger or whatever on the realities of CBD. Hey, this is CBD. This is my experience. This is how it works. This is, you know, the CBD, if you're buying it because you have a migraine and you go to the CBD store to buy CBD, you better be buying CBD full spectrum that has terpenes. Because if you're not, well then, you know, the CBD, even if you're taking 300 milligrams a day, it's going to take a week or two or longer to feel anything. So it's not, CBD is not designed for immediate results. It's just not. It doesn't work that way. There's I mean, people will say they feel something or whatever, but you know, a lot of that is psychosomatic. If they're already taking CBD, they already have it in their system, then that's a different matter. But it does take time. Nobody knows that. CBD's not advertising that. So if you are a customer and you're buying CBD because you have arthritis, like in my finger, I'm not going to shoot you guys the bird, but can you see this middle finger, how out of shape it is? It's twice the size every morning. It's double, well, not double, but almost double the size in the knuckle every single morning. I can't turn doorknobs or anything. I wake up, I immediately take the Ultra Relief, and like 30 minutes later, 45 minutes later, it goes from about an 8 on pain down to maybe a 5 or a 6. And then usually an hour or two later, that pain's even lower, but it's not necessarily from our product, but just from moving around a bit. But that immediacy is what I do every morning. Now, I have been taking the CBD that we sell. I do forget at times. I need to remember. I keep it next to my bed, but now I'm so used to seeing it that I've forgotten to still take it. But when I was taking it more on a regular basis every single night, I did find after about a month that when I woke up in the morning, that arthritis pain was less. And again, I still took my Ultra Relief, but instead of it being an 8, it was probably about a 6 or a 7, and that was just from the CBD use, the ongoing regular CBD use. So again, CBD has all these great benefits. This is not immediate. The only way it can be immediate is if you add terpenes. If you add terpenes to CBD and you buy it at CBD stores, it's called full spectrum CBD. That full spectrum CBD also has a little THC in it, unless you pay a little bit extra to make sure there's no THC. Bottom line is, if that is you and you're buying that full spectrum, you're spending $120, $150, $200. There isn't any option less. So again, CBD, if you want it for immediacy, you got to do that, which means you got to spend that kind of money, or you buy our product, or you buy just the terpenes. So that is an education that everyone needs to have. So that's something that you could say every single day on different blogs, and it would never be enough. Even with all 27 of you, or 26, however many is now. Even with you guys all writing on just that topic, it's still, you'd be fine. That education in itself needs to get out there. People need to know this, not just so they'll understand what terpenes are and that it's an option, but they need to know that about CBD. It'd be a good thing. So in that article, you write stuff like that, explain CBD, explain your experiences, all this different stuff, explain full spectrum, and then say, well, you know, if you don't want to spend $150, $200 on full spectrum, if you don't want the risk of failing a drug test, but you do want the immediacy of being able to take something like ibuprofen a couple of times a day if you had to, or every single morning, here's the alternative. It's just the terpenes. And by the way, as an added benefit, it's the exact same terpenes found in cannabis and in hemp, but we extract it from somewhere else. So you get it's the same strength, the same, you know, once it's pure, it's pure. It doesn't, you know, it's like a carbon molecule. If you looked at a carbon molecule, just that molecule itself, you wouldn't know if it came from the air or from water or wherever. It's just carbon. You can't know where it was extracted from. And our terpenes are the same thing. So we'll get it from black pepper, or, you know, from the myrcene from mangoes. And the list goes on and on. So it's all alternatives to hemp, which makes it less expensive and obviously safer for those people who don't want that risk of failing a drug test, which is sort of a false thing. By the way, they probably will not fail a drug test, just between you and I, but we don't need, you could scream that from the rooftop every single day. People still will think CBD, and they'll connect it to failing drug tests. But at any rate, whatever, it works in our favor. And then there's also a lot of people out there too that we love to take CBD, but they do not like it because of its connection to hemp or to cannabis. They have a moral issue on it. You don't have to fight the moral issue. You don't need to explain to them. You don't need to sell them on CBD. Just say, oh, not a problem. If you have a moral issue with all these things, we can give you all the same power of those terpenes from, you know, alternative plants and so forth. So just non-hemp alternatives. So that in that blog, again, that's what I'm saying. That's blog number 1, and blog number 2 could just be on ibuprofen. I've sent it out a couple of times, but for David, I sent it to you too, David. It was the one, my Shopify page, which I don't really use anymore, but the Shopify page, it says 10 side effects of ibuprofen. So the blog could be on that, and that's the one I talk about all the time. In fact, anytime I'm selling a store, that's the first thing I tell people, and it's how I explain our Ultra Relief, or now Rapid Relief. Rapid Relief, by the way, you guys don't need to worry about that. It's just one of our clients I changed the name for in the branding to Rapid Relief. It's neither here nor there. But what I always explain it is that, do you know anyone who takes ibuprofen every day? And everyone's like, yeah, I know a bunch of people. I mean, it's not an unusual thing to to ask. People do. Or have you ever been at a time where you had to take it every single day or multiple times a day or whatever? And the answer is yeah. There's a lot of people who have the kind of job where they, almost as an addict, they'll wake up every morning and they're taking their ibuprofen first thing in the morning, and then they take it at lunch, and then they take it when they get home. It's not, it's the alternative in their mind is painkillers, prescription drugs, and they don't want to do that. Well, the reality of it is that ibuprofen is really ibuprofen should not be taken more than a few times a month. It has really tons and tons of side effects, and that is becoming more and more in the light. And in fact, if all of us would really focus on that point and get that news out there and get that as a more viral news, a lot more people could discover this thing too and go, oh wow, geez, I am taking ibuprofen every day. What's the alternative? Well, the alternative is CBD full spectrum, a couple $100 if you want the CBD, or just straight terpenes, which is your product, whatever y'all's different product names are. So those are those two blog topics. Can you add other ones? Sure. The more the merrier. That's great. But my point is you don't need to overthink this. If you just rewrote those blogs every single month and put that information out there so that people could find it, that's number one. You're going to pick up sales. Not only are you going to pick up some sales now, but you're going to pick up more sales the more our people start selling online. Now, our distributor sales in those stores, I don't know if that will, because they're in the store, they're going to buy it. I doubt they'll look it up afterwards. And if they do, it doesn't matter. They already have the product in their hand. But the online stuff, for sure. Each one of you guys could probably pick up 10, 20, 30 sales a month, just the cast off from what these guys are going to start doing in the first quarter. Really look toward the end of the first quarter, because nothing moves fast, I find. This is in January. It seems like it's the third week in January before everyone's sort of like, okay, finally, I'm just back to work. And I need to meet with them and so forth. And I need to be in Florida for a bunch of different things. So at any rate, whatever that is, towards the end of that first quarter, you want to make sure that you've got your blogs out there. You've got to make sure that you got your information. So I forgot what got me on that topic other than, well, that's one way you want to get those sales. But the other few ways are what I shared with you guys a month or so ago, and that webinar is in the back office. I know I uploaded it. I forgot what it's called. I either uploaded it or I put it in that Dropbox link, which, by the way, David, I don't know if I ever sent you that Dropbox link, so I'll resend that to you. What the Dropbox link is, it's got more training videos in it. It's stuff that I can't upload on YouTube because it's either a video of a YouTube video, so it gets flagged when I upload it. So instead, I just send you guys the actual video itself. So it's the same Dropbox link all the time. You just go back and check it every once in a while. So I will send that to you. David, let me write myself a note. Dropbox link. And actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and send that out as an email to everyone. So when I send it from the back office here, you guys are looking at the screen here. I'll send it from here. So you guys will all get that just as a reminder to check that time to time. I haven't added anything to it in several weeks, but just in case you guys have lost that link. At any rate, in that webinar that we had, I shared with you guys some of the other things I did. I sold CBD by listing on eBay. And I sold it at $39.95, I think, and I sold it at $29.95. See if there was a huge difference. There didn't seem to be a volume difference. It's not like I sold less. I mean, I sold more when I lowered the price. There are other people selling CBD similar to ours for cheap on eBay and on Etsy and even on Amazon. There's a company that's out there that has a 5,000 milligram CBD where it's like 2 bottles for $30 or whatever. But guess what? That's not an offer that's up there all the time. It's not like you can't always compete with other people's pricing. you got to compete with the general market. You can't just look at one guy, one company out there that has this really low price. First of all, you don't know why they are doing that. You don't know if they're losing money. If they're obviously not making a bunch of money, but maybe they're getting out of the CBD business. Maybe they had 1,000 bottles that a deal fell through. So now they got a bunch and they're selling it on Amazon. You can't price against them. Again, you got to price your CBD against what I showed you guys. If you go and you Google 5,000 milligram CBD isolate 30 milliliter tincture bottle for sale, or whatever, any variation of that, you're going to see all those companies out there selling the 5,000 milligram CBD and what their prices are. And their prices are, well, right now there's a lot of sales, so it's like $150. You'll see some maybe for $99, some for $210, $220, but those are the prices that websites are selling it for. That's what you want to price against. Those are the people you're thinking about. So even with whoever else selling on eBay, it doesn't matter. If you put your product on there, enough people will find you. And I don't know where I have those numbers. You'd have to go back and watch that webinar. Forgot how many it was, but what for that whole month, spending like $400 on marketing, the net profit was $3,000. That was without doing anything. I mean, just listing the product on eBay and also doing the social media. Now, the social media, just to remind you guys, what I'm talking about is putting it on Facebook. Now, when I was advertising, I wasn't really advertising to my friends and family, because they all know they can call me up, they get it for free, and and they all do. So, but it was to look at my friends and see who of my friends or associates or kind of people I know, whoever people I have as a friend on Facebook. I would look for somebody that had a huge network of friends. There's this one girl that has like 1,500 friends on Facebook. She's involved. She talks to all these people. She's always on Facebook and different social media. So I had her post my little ad about CBD and on her Facebook wall, and just make sure that when she posted that on her Facebook wall, she put it as the privacy as public. So for that one post, you want to make sure it's a public post so that anybody can see it. And I had her do that, and I had one other person do that. And again, I forget what number of sales we got, but a bunch. And a bunch meaning 10 to 20, something like that. And then we have around 15 of those people right now that are on automatic billing that are buying terpenes from us every month. There you go. So maybe a total hours invested of 3 hours. I don't know. So you guys should be doing that every single month. That's $3 right there, without any work. You need the CBD, because the CBD is a good bait and switch. Really, the CBD is great because you're selling them a high milligram CBD, and whether they buy the terpenes up front or not, if they don't, then it's always good to go hit those people back up in say a week or two and say, are you feeling anything from the CBD? Because when I took my CBD, I didn't. It took a long time. They will say the same thing to you. Say, yeah, see, that's exactly why you need the terpenes. And then you sell your terpene product to them. And for most, what you'll find is that they'll stop taking the CBD and they'll just buy the terpenes. Really, they should be taking both, but whatever. A lot of people aren't, they don't want another supplement that they have to take every day. They're looking for a solution to an ongoing chronic problem like pain or anxiety attacks or stress. And they, maybe they don't drink anymore. They used to take Xanax, and they don't want to take Xanax anymore. So did you introduce them the Relax product? Or maybe the Focus. They just, have a problem focusing in the morning. They got a little ADD, but they're looking for a healthy alternative. That is more of a daily supplement thing. So kind of take that one away. Still, people like it. You guys get my point. So you guys gotta, sometimes it's not about swinging for the fences. It's all these base hits in the beginning. I always tell everyone, focus on the first 100 bottle sales that are just on a regular basis every month, and then you go from there, and everything kind of grows exponentially. And then also what you guys will hear a lot from me in January is to sell the stores in your area. Because what I've done, I have not ordered any new displays where we could just insert y'all's information. But what I did on the displays I did order, here I'm pulling up a picture of it, is we edited the display in such a manner where the top part can be redone. So we can put a different top part on there. That could be your logo or whatever. And it probably won't be like a cutout of your logo. I'm thinking what we'll do is get another piece that will have a blank area here, so you can put your own QR code with your own explainer video, and then it'll just be kind of square up here. And then where the artwork for your logo and whatever else you want up there will be a nice quality, just a sticker that you will put on the white display. So that is one solution. And then the other one was with our, let me get these open for you guys. I'm looking around, but I got a bunch of monitors, by the way, if you guys are wondering why I'm looking around. All right, there we go. So like, can you see on our enclosed display, you see this piece here? This piece is added later. So that we've got the case, and then this piece goes on there, as does the piece in the back there, and these pieces up front. So I'm thinking that what we can do for each one of you guys, or at least, you know, I'll give you the dimensions and you guys could do your own artwork or wherever, or I'll give you the guy who did our designs and he can do this up for you. And then you can just have these printed with your custom information on it. And then buy the boxes, obviously. We can sell you the boxes. I'm just trying to get you guys displays without you guys having to order, you know, spend $10,000 for displays. The box displays, I don't really have the solution for yet, other than we have to order some. Luckily, they're not super expensive per box. But what I'm going to do for these is we'll order some, or even on this, I don't know. You could probably just cover up the logo here. Some of you guys, and then get a sticker again to go on the outside of the box. I just know you guys. A lot of you guys are going to go, I don't want a blue box. I don't want a red box. So at any rate, my point in the displays is that ultimately you guys need to go back and sell some stores in your area. So if you think that you tried that and it didn't work when we first started, I'd tell you that it's because we sold it wrong, tried to oversell it. Or you guys sold them 4 bottles and then never called them back, thinking that they would just call you when those sold. And that's just not how sales works, especially not on our product. But and I said, nobody sells 4 units of something to a store. So in their mind already, they're thinking, because that was my bad. I should have never offered that. That shouldn't have been an offer. But I was trying to make it as easy as possible for you guys to get sales for these stores, these vape stores and so forth. So I did that, and it just cheapened the product. A lot of those stores, though, that everyone sold, and we sold, I think there was a total of like 700 stores that were, or more, that you guys sold 2 years ago. Not you guys, the people that aren't with us anymore, but people that were regionals at the time, went out and sold these different vape stores and so forth. There's 700 or 800 of them, and I still get calls all the time from these stores buying. In fact, I got a call from somebody yesterday who said that they called their representative, and the representative said that he is no longer offering the product. And so they called me direct, and they bought 24 bottles. They bought 24, and that probably will buy 24 again next month, and another 24 after that. It seems like our average bottles being sold, this isn't a vape store, but in the dispensaries or anyone that's selling CBD or like alternative medicines, whatever, is 24. Now, we don't sell less than 24, number one. Our displays are all set up for 24 bottles. So mentally, that's what I was thinking. Just how, like, we used to sell a case was 40 bottles. Well, now I think a 24 is the minimum sale. That's what we push people to sell it at. And we're finding it something like that. Really, I think the average probably like 20 to 22. But we resell them 24. They can't call us and say, I need 20 bottles. So maybe they have the relax sells faster, or the relief sells faster, whatever. But you guys, they're easy sales. They're not hard. They really aren't. And why it was hard before, again, I don't know. All I know is that, now when I call up a store, it's almost it's a 90% chance I'm going to sell them. As long as if I know they're the kind of store that would be selling our product, number one. So I'm not going to introduce anything weird to them, right? And I have the owner's name. I know it's locally owned, whatever, all those different things. 90% chance I'm going to sell them. So you guys need to be doing that, because that is reliable income every single month. If you're in a state where they have legal marijuana, which, by the way, now 4 more states passed marijuana on some level, either medical or even medicinal. I think there's only a few states that don't allow it. So if you're in one of those states, don't worry, you hold your breath, it'll be legal soon. But if you're in one of those states where they do have medical marijuana, there's a bunch of dispensaries, and I find that dispensaries are great. We've got really, really good results from dispensaries. But and that doesn't mean that, you're going to sell all of them, especially up front. Before you have any track record, it's going to be a little harder for you. But once you sell 2 or 3, you can refer back to them. People go, oh yeah, well, these guys sold it. Problem with dispensaries is the first couple of times I went in, the guy acted like he knew so much more than I did. And it was like, and I think that was a male pissing contest. So, you gotta put your ego aside on some of these things. And I probably didn't. But after that, I found they were super, super easy to sell. In fact, what I'm focusing on now is the mom and pop pharmacies. And as you guys know, we kind of have an in with these pharmacies all across the country, with my ex-uncle-in-law, who's a senator here in Oklahoma. He has the patent for this piece of equipment. He has the US patent for a piece of equipment that's made out of Germany. It's the only one sold in the United States that compounds medicine. So if you're going to get like a lotions or something like that, where it's very, very custom for you, like your doctor's prescribing this, like a lot of the bigger pharmacies, they don't do that. They don't do that kind of personal compounding. You got to go to these smaller kind of off pharmacies, and those are like those mom and pop ones. Anyway, there's thousands and thousands of those out there, and I have not talked to my guy Rob about it yet, because I really wanted to make sure our ducks were in a row. I mean, I've talked to him a little bit about it, and I was going to revisit it once we had a really, really good track record out there. And now we do. It's probably time to do that. There's been a few things going on, which I don't know if y'all heard of. This something called COVID or something. I don't know. And this election thing. Y'all heard about this election? So, and he's a senator, Republican senator here in Oklahoma. At any rate, so I'll get around to that, and that will help you guys eventually. But we'll have to wait on that. I mean, I don't want you guys going into the pharmacy selling your brand and referring back to him. We'll have to wait till let us sell a bunch, or not a bunch, even 100. And then you guys can use those people as referrals rather than my ex-uncle-in-law. Yeah, I do not need that, you guys. That anyone calling or referring back, again, this is my ex-wife's uncle. But anyway, that being said, I was referred to a couple of pharmacies not too long ago, and I was like, oh, wow, and called them up, sold them, and then went ahead and saw a couple of different mom and pop pharmacies that were in that same town, called them up, said, I just sold this product to the other people, and they bought. But you guys do need displays for those. And now we have, let's see if I have any in here. We've got those big displays, which I shipped some of those out to you guys. If anyone needs one, they're the 2-level, just white. They're not customized, and then you have to put our back on it. The kind of You have to customize it. Anyway, it doesn't, to me, now that I've seen what our displays are, this is night and day. It doesn't, I think our displays look so much more professional. So if you guys just wait till January, February, which you guys probably would anyway, we'll have a solution for you guys at that time. But I would tell everyone that maybe in February or March to donate a little, or to commit a little bit of your time each month to some stores, and maybe make a goal of at least 5 new stores a month. I mean, 5 is pretty low. Maybe even 10 new stores a month. And let me tell you, by the end of next year, this time next year, if you do that, that adds up. If you have 120 stores selling your product, you know, selling 20, let's call it 100 stores, they're selling 20 a month, it's 2,000 bottles. If you're averaging, let's call it $4 a bottle profit, if you guys are buying it at 6, you're going to sell it at about 10. But you know, it's $8,000 every single month. And it's not heavy lifting. These guys are in your backyard for the most part, or at least within a couple of hours drive if you needed to see them in person. Usually just by you calling in the state, you being a product that's out of that state is all, you just call them up on the phone. But at any rate, so again, we'll talk about all those things too next year. But my original point, going all the way back, is you got to sort of chunk this thing down of how you're selling it. You know, let's make sure that you're selling 10 a month, then 20 a month, then 30 a month. Don't forget about those things like eBay or Etsy. You may not set the world on fire. You might only sell 5 or 10, but go ahead and do it. Amazon, go ahead and get it listed on Amazon. You may not sell anything for the first couple of months because they may pay you no never mind. But it's one of those things, like if you don't do it now, then in March you won't be selling. So that really is like Amazon. For the first 2 months, I couldn't get anything done. Nobody, you could tell it was a computer, you know, answering questions and so forth. Sorry, every time I say the C word.
I don't know that one.
My house picks up. But at any rate, you guys got to get that stuff listed so that you have that time equity built up. And then after a couple of months, they give you the buy box. They let you start advertising. That was my biggest thing, is in the beginning, I wanted to spend some, you know, throw a little money at it. Not even a bunch, even a couple of $100 a month on the sponsored ads in Amazon, and they wouldn't let me. So, and I couldn't figure that out. I guess it's that I didn't know why, but eventually all of a sudden the clouds lifted and I could do it. And it seemed like it was about a 60-day period, by the way. So if you talk to a lot of other people, they'll tell you the same thing. It's just in the beginning, they just don't really, they're not there to help too much. But after that 60 to 90 day sort of probationary period, it opens up, gets a lot easier. Amazon, you're gonna have to spend a little money to make money on Amazon. If you're gonna have them do the fulfillment, it's even better though, because if you send the product into them, they do give you a little bit more attention. And obviously when they're doing the fulfillment, it makes it a lot easier for you guys. So even in the beginning, who cares? Sell, you know, send them 20 bottles. And if they sell only 2 a week, who cares? It's 2 more than you're selling right now. You didn't have to lift a finger. You don't do anything. They do the shipping, the boxing, they do everything. And they charge you for that, which is like but it's not as much as you would think. So it's worth looking into at some point. In the beginning, just get listed on Amazon and do it yourself. For some of you guys, we're already doing the fulfillment. So by the way, I didn't even plan on talking about anything on sales today, but all right, well, there we go. So we talked a little bit about that. Let me get everyone else updated on all the other stuff. So Lori wanted me to tell you guys that I went in this morning to the warehouse and I was helping Lori catch up with the shipping. So if you've got like any shipments that were being sent out to your clients or to you guys, we were like 3 days backed up or whatever due to last week. Everything's caught up. And by the way, she double checked all my boxes. So I didn't screw up and send one person's order to somebody else, as I've been known to do time to time. But at any rate, everything is all caught up over there. So, and none of y'all's, if she is doing your fulfillment and that's only an option for a few of you guys, and you know who you are. She's never more than a day behind for y'all's sales that come in. Usually if your sale came in today, that almost doesn't matter what time. Even if it was 8 o'clock in the morning, that will get sent tomorrow. So everything's like a day behind, but it fits the criteria for whatever. Any site that you're selling on, like Amazon or whatever, the promise date, you know, you can have a day or two padding in there. People have been worried about that too, as far as the weekend. Like, what happens when you get a deal on Saturday? Are y'all shipping on Saturday or Sunday? We're not, but they go out on Monday. It's not a problem. Nobody is freaking out about getting their product. But Lori wanted me to tell you guys that, look, if you get a new shopping cart, you got to tell her that new shopping cart, because otherwise you're not going to be able to track any of your stuff. And she won't get notification of the sale. So that is how all that stuff works in stamps. So if you change your shopping cart, you got to tell her so that she can put that into your, what's called your store, in our stamps account. And that's how we're kind of running everything through there. So Lori said she had a problem with a couple of you guys on that. I assume you guys have already gotten that fixed, but I wanted to let anyone else know if that happens to you guys. We're really only doing fulfillment for the UK, for the, we got 2 people in Australia now. And there's like 3 of you guys in the US, 2 of which haven't started selling, and then 1 of which sells a lot, but we already knew he would. So, so for the rest of you guys, fulfillment may be a thing that we'll provide you. We'll know, and I'll address it in February. I wonder how many times I'm gonna drop my pen. I'll address that in February and see how it's going. I mean, it seems like she's pretty busy right now, and she's only doing fulfillment for a few, which scares me a little bit. I'm like, huh, I don't know. So we may not, it might be something that we'll offer, but there'll be a small fee. It'll be cheaper than anyone else's fulfillment, but I just don't know if it'll be like a free service that we can provide. I'd like to, but we'll see. And I'm sure as Lori goes, it gets easier and easier to do. A lot of stuff's pre-packaged, which makes it a lot easier. It's just a matter of printing the labels and the organization and all that kind of stuff, which she seems to have done down pretty well. So at any rate, we've got all those caught up. Our large order went out, the 2,000 bottles. So we got that pushed aside. We don't need to worry about that. So if you're waiting for something, if you're one of, if you needed some bottles from, you know, from what you're getting automatically every month with your monthly private label thing, if you guys don't request it, we don't send it. You guys got to let us know. Except for you, David, you're new, and we just put them together, we send it. But for all of you other guys, I don't know if what you're selling. You got to tell us. There's a few of you, Johnny in particular, you know, well, he's different. He's not on this call. He's never on these calls. He sells a lot. He might sell more than everyone put together, but he has a store. He was already doing this, so it's not a fair comparison. But there's some of you guys who don't ever sell Relax anymore. You only sell Relief, or you don't sell Focus. So you guys got to let us know. So again, just like stores, the order I got from the store yesterday was 24 bottles of Ultra Relief. I tried to sell her some Relax as well, but no, she just wanted the Relief. All right, no problem. So again, those of you who did tell us that you needed some, like Amy, we sent out actually I sent that out. Well, you and I talked about that right before Thanksgiving. I wanted to get that sent out before then. It didn't. It went out on Monday. Was that Monday last week? I don't know. I don't remember. You should have it anyway. If you don't have it, I know I put your email in there in the tracking number. So yours were taken care of. And there was like 2 or 3 others of you guys. Anyway, everything is shipped. So it was either all is going out today. Like I know that one of you guys needed like 60 bottles of Focus. Does that sound familiar? Whichever one of you that went out. So I remember seeing that. I don't check this stuff. I let Lori handle it. There's nothing I can do about it. If I get involved, that's usually when something gets screwed up. So I'm letting Lori handle all that. So you guys still, a couple of you guys asked about Amy as well. For now, still go ahead and include her email when you're sending me an email for now. And she will check it. Amy's not full-time with us. And a little unpredictable right now. We'll have somebody new in January, and I'll update you guys then. Anyway, so make sure that when you email me, send it to Amy. And if I miss it the first day, Amy usually catches it. And if she doesn't, and I missed it, I go back and check. I'll look at all those unopened ones eventually. It just might take a couple of days. For whatever reason, email, just, I've gotten in the habit of email is not my number one place to go check anymore, which really sucks because I know it's a way that we're all used to communicating. I've looked into a couple of different like intranet systems that we could use for communication and so forth. And there's ones out there, there's a bunch of them. It just have to commit to one. And in fact, some of you guys already sent ideas over, and we'll look into that. We'll institute something next year. We've had a lot of stuff going on, so I just don't want to add anything new. You guys know if you have a big question and you send an email and you don't get a response in 24 hours, it's important, pick up the phone, call us. If somebody doesn't answer, either call right back, because it's either somebody's just on the other line, or if it's after hours. Because I'm in the loop on that thing too. The call will come to me, and if it gets to me, I answer it unless I'm in the middle of something. All right, those were all I'm going through my list. That was where I updated everyone on everything. We talked a little bit about sales. So let's talk about the rest of the year. I mean, the rest of December. I mean, I know we're right in the beginning of it, so we got basically 4 more weeks in December. However, there's that week of Christmas. Nobody expects to be working that week or have webinars. But for the next 2 weeks, I don't know. I'm not going to have a webinar Wednesday night unless I have something to share. I can tell you that for the whole month. We'll assume that we'll have these Friday ones, okay? No matter what, because really what I was planning on doing today was just saying, hey, just touching base, well, let you know I'm here, and okay, everyone go enjoy your Friday. But I started talking, so I think we'll try to do the Friday ones. The Wednesday ones will be an exception if we have one. So, I would look for the replay, if anything. And lately, I've been emailing out anytime we have a live webinar. So if you didn't get an email with a link to a live webinar, we probably didn't have one. This one today, right now, this will be rendered, and I'll be emailing it out to all of you guys. So in case you've tuned in late, or if you tuned out early, this will be in that same email with the Dropbox link that I am going to remember to send out. So yeah, this whole month, the rest of the month's kind of the same. I think you guys don't need to be talking to me. Y'all that are selling are selling. So even you can see that even when you're doing fulfillment for your own sales, it's like whether you get 3 sales a day or 30 sales a day, it almost doesn't matter. So it's so frustrating when I know, trust me, when you only get like a sale one day and like 1 sale the next day and maybe 3 the day after that. Because it's almost just as hard to put together the shipping for 1 as it is the shipping for 30. So once you're in front of the computer and you're doing it, it doesn't matter. You might as well do more. So I know what that's like. And those of y'all who are selling, December's a great month, as we know. Those of you who aren't selling for whatever reason, even if you're like planning on doing it next year or whatever, or something else came up. I know a couple of you guys have other projects and other things you do. So you either are selling this sort of, in blocks here and there, putting attention in. I would always have some ads out there, even if it's just for the terpenes on eBay or Etsy or whatever. And I'd also make sure that you are always posting your blogs. None of you guys are doing that on a religious basis, nor am I. So, you know, my solution is I'm going to pay somebody to do some of these advertising for us in January. Not just the blog stuff, but a bunch of other stuff. But one of the main reasons I even open this up to you guys is so that you would do some of this stuff. So you get the word out there and do that education part. And we're all dropping the ball in that part. So if you guys can pick that up, make sure that you at least do those 2 or 3 blogs every single month. Either on your own blog or really more important on whatever blog that you have a connection to that where it has some eyes on it. And if you do have your own blog, make sure that it's being seen. Now, David, that's something you'll see in the Dropbox link. When I send you this link, or anyone else that didn't look at the Dropbox before, we had a webinar like a couple of months ago where the whole webinar was a video training of a guy showing you guys what to do to have your own blog to get it so it's searchable. So it shows up on Google so you can get found. There's a bunch of different steps in there that you had to do. And it shows you in this thing step by step by step. So Lord knows what it's called, the video, but it should be self-explanatory in Dropbox. So take a look in that. What else? That's it. So this week and next week, I'm kind of tied up with this rent to own deal, trying to get this together. If I can get it sold before December, it'll happen. December 31st. If I can't, it doesn't matter. These guys are buying it in lieu of paying taxes. So again, it's a good investment for them. And something I guess I want to do. I guess it makes sense. Anyway, so I'm really, really busy this week, next week, but I'm in town in Oklahoma until the 27th. And then in 27th, I'll be in the Panhandle of Florida, in Destin, at Dad's Beach House for the New Year and so forth. So if you guys need me, or if we need to set up a call, just let me know. And we could probably do something next week, like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, sometime late in the day. Almost any day after like 2 or 3 is good, because you know, I start work lately at about 4 o'clock, 4 a.m. and I'll work straight through maybe 12 or 1. And then after that, I'm usually open to some calls if need be. All right, that's it. Hopefully I've updated everyone. Did I have everything else on there? I got the Lori thing. Oh, so I'm gonna have Lori contact you guys. Our Australian salespeople had a question about us doing fulfillment down there. The answer is no. I know what you guys want. We could ship stuff. The thing we're doing in the UK, the only reason we did that, it was this very, very small thing. There's a company that we could ship product to. And then that company, then, you know, they will do fulfillment and so forth. It made it easier, and it was an easier thing to ship to. By the way, they made the actual shipping, the overseas shipping, easy. And if somebody had access to that, we don't have that in Australia. If you guys have it, I'm open to it. But I'd much rather you guys sell in Australia, because you guys are kicking butt with that. For us to do the fulfillment there, the product has to be there, and we could do like the paperwork part of it. But we're just not set up to do that. So Lori wanted me to explain that to you guys, and I'm like, I don't really know what to explain other than just to tell you guys that we can't, even though you guys are doing really, really well. I would tell you guys that, look, if you sell as many in Australia as you're selling in the United States, which I assume you guys are, although we will get another shipment out to you at some point, it probably will not be until the end of January or February. And the reason is just everything, it just takes a while. It takes a while to get you guys stuff. And I assume y'all have sold out of all that, which is why there's probably all these sales here in the United States. So maybe that's part of it. So if you guys need to, because I never get to talk to you guys, you know, I guess you guys watch these things. So if you guys need to set up a call, let me know. And we could do it either. I think my early morning is also a bad time for you guys. I think my 3 a.m. is like y'all's 8 o'clock at night the next day or something, or late that day, whatever. I don't know, whatever it is. you get with me and we'll schedule a call and we could talk about this. But I'd rather, the answer in the short run here is no fulfillment in Australia. Just keep doing what you guys are doing. You're making a bunch of sales. We'll get there. What we'll do next order is we'll ship something big. We'll ship, you know, probably 4,000 or 5,000 down there, and then you guys, the two of you guys, can split those. And I would assume that once this COVID thing lightens up a little bit more, our shipping will get back to normal as well. It's probably closer to normal now, really, but I don't know. I haven't checked into it, honestly. So I'll look for an email from you guys. Reach out on Skype if you guys want to talk about that. And any UK people watching this, same deal with y'all. You guys are out of any product in the UK, and there will not be any there until sometime 3rd, 4th week in January. So keep doing what you're doing, selling in the United States. Lori's doing your fulfillment. All seems to be going great. And that's that. All right, everyone, that's it. David, your stuff will be coming out soon. Be looking for that email for the Dropbox link. It'll be self-explanatory when you get it. But if you do have any questions, just shoot me an email and I'll be responding back to you. It'll probably be tomorrow morning before you hear from me. All right, everyone, that is it. I checked off all the boxes and talked a hell of a lot longer than I thought I would. Talk for an hour. All right, everyone, get back to work. Oh, today's Friday. That's right. I don't think it matters. I work all weekend, but at any rate, enjoy your weekend, guys.